Welcome to the FFL Solidity team call. Today is April 28th. So we are going into week 1 of May, so super excited for that. But we do have a very special guest on the call with us today, and I'm really excited as I've learned a lot from Jaime coming into FFL. She was really kind of that pivotal person who really showed me like, hey, this is what you do and this is what you definitely don't do on the phone here. Super direct. Jaime is president of FFL National with her husband, Frankie Eufemia, out of Baltimore, and they're also integrity partners. So super, super thankful to have you on the call with us today, Jaime. How are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, can hear you perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on. We appreciate your time. So just to kind of hit the call off, Jaime, like I said at the beginning, you really helped me a lot with my mindset, kind of staying even keeled, so to say, when I was getting started and kind of going through the motions. And I feel like there's not a better person that can train on the phones than you within like the industry. You're absolutely amazing. So with that being said, before we jump into all of that, Jaime, if you don't mind introducing yourself, kind of who you are, your background, what it looked like, for yourself and Frankie before FFL and kind of what it looks like now.
Yeah, well, thank you again for having me on the call. So Frank and I, we've always worked together. We've been together. We're going on 19 years. I'm like, what? I was a baby. And so we had a mortgage company before we got into insurance, and then the mortgage business kind of imploded back in 2009. So I stumbled across an ad that talked about mortgage protection. And that was in early 2010. Both of us got an insurance license because we wanted to be able to work together. And it kind of seemed like this industry, we could still do that. And so we started with a different company and we're there for a couple of years. And at the end of our time there, we didn't do terrible. But now I look at it, it was really bad, but to them, it was really good. Right. And so we were just living just at our means. Right. I mean, it was, a struggle bus. I think when we left there, our comp was at 90%. Right. And so, and our lead, costs were like way more than lead costs here ever were. And so when we started Family First Life, we started with Sean when he started the company, and we knew him from the prior company that we were at. And so it was a little nerve-wracking in the beginning, I will say. Things look way different today than they did back then. Some people are like, I wish I was here from the start. No, you don't. The start was tough, right? I mean, you figure we had one carrier, no lead vendors. There wasn't any such thing as like these instant internet leads and 3-month internets and age final expense and age that there weren't those things. We were literally calling companies and saying, hey, can you produce leads? Yeah, we can. And I'll never forget, I called this company, we still use them today. And I was like, hi, yeah, I saw that you guys do mortgage protection leads. Yeah, we do. Okay, do you think you can mail some for us? And they were like, yeah, no, we don't mail for any other companies, but we have some old ones if you want those. I was like, yeah, how many do you have? She hangs up the phone and she's like, I'm going to have to go look in the file cabinet. They're in the back room. So if you could give me like 20 minutes, I'll let you know how many we have. And she calls me back and she's like, okay, so I looked, I don't know if you'd want these or not. They're like 30 days old. We could probably give them to you for like $3, but I don't even know how many you have because they're in the file cabinet. I think there's at least like probably 500 in there. I was like, yeah, we'll take them off. She was like, what? She was like, okay, it's going to take me a while to scan those in and get those to you. So, could you give me like 5 days or so? I was like, however long you need, just send them all over to me. And so that's kind of how it was in the beginning. We were trying to figure this thing out, trying to make it work, trying to make it duplicatable, trying to make it so people could be profitable straight out of the gate. And I think that's what Sean has done a super good job at, is just making sure that agents are always put first and that they have the best shot if they're in the insurance business. So that's kind of how it all began for us.
It's amazing because, just seeing, the strides that, you guys have made, through Family First Life, it's incredible. I love that you guys work together as a couple, but you also are so good at two different things, so to say. It's like if Frankie lacks here, you pick it up and vice versa. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So Jaime, thanks for that intro. And I love that start and that story, like that story of you calling and oh, they're 30 days old. You're like, pass them over, you know? That's something you'll never forget for sure. So love it. So just to kind of dive right in, I think in this business, you probably agree, mindset is everything, right? If your mindset is messed up, everything around you is going to be messed up in terms of business. So with that being said, what are some things or some tips that you give to new agents or any agent that might be kind of struggling and you can see or feel that it's their mindset or they're even aware that it's their mindset?
Yeah. So in the beginning, when things weren't always easy, because we all know that when you're first getting started in anything new, it doesn't always come to people, it doesn't click immediately, right? And so our mind plays tricks on us, right? I always say, like, your mind only knows what you're telling it. And it could be just something simple like, oh man, all these leads and nobody's going to answer. Or it could just be like, oh, they probably just want to quote, right? So whatever you're telling your mind, you're going to believe because it's listening to you. So I always say, like, in the beginning, there's two really important things that help with mindset. And one is a gratitude journal. So feet hit the ground. It could be as simple as just like having a little notepad in your phone and just typing in 10 things you're grateful for. Anything. It could be an actual journal. Like I have a whole stack here on the shelf here. Somebody's kind of going through a place and they're just like in a negative, like I don't deal with negativity ever. Like I can flip a negative to a positive in just 2 seconds. So I keep some gratitude journals here. Maybe you just grab one off Amazon, or maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just a piece of a notebook or whatever. But starting the day off with 10 things you're grateful for, just put your mindset in a frame that's like, because you can't be negative and grateful at the same time. It's very impossible to be negative and grateful at the same time. So start your day with a positivity journal. Think of things that you're grateful for. It could be just your life might really suck right now, right? But you live in America where you can drive a car, you have a cell phone, you have food that you can eat. It might be ramen or something from the dollar store. You can wash your clothes and clean water. You have lights on. There's heat in the house. Like that was 6 things right there. We didn't even get into the fact that you have an insurance license and you're here at Family First Life. So there are so many things that sometimes we just are so mucking in, like, this negative place and like what's going wrong. It's like, let's say what's going right, because immediately we can get our mind thinking positively, and then you're starting to attract positive things. So as soon as you can click on that positivity, I'm telling you, people start picking up the phone, you start setting appointments, you start getting deposits, you start getting people calling you as referrals. It just is weird how positivity can be a magnet to people that just make a decision to stay positive. So positivity journal, then positive affirmations. Whatever you tell yourself, you're going to believe, period. I don't care what it is. If you think you're ugly, then you're ugly. If you think that you have a bad attitude, you have a bad attitude. If you think you're going to be good on the phones, you're not going to be good on the phones. If you think you're going to be bad in the house, you're going to be bad in the house. But the good news is you can flip every single one of this. I'm a beautiful person. I'm beautiful inside and I'm beautiful outside. I'm an amazing person. I'm awesome at this business. I love this business. People I talk to are going to want to do business with me. Everybody who I call is going to answer the phone. They're looking forward to talking to me. See, when you start speaking that truth straight out, your brain hears it, and then you start believing what you're saying. And it might not be this instantaneous thing, but I promise you, if you just make this part of your habits and part of your daily routines, it starts to change who you are. You also start to see people around you who aren't like this, and you're like, I have no time for that person. Like I love them, and it could be family, it could be friends, it could be people you hang out with regularly, that now all of a sudden you're starting to see, like, all they talk about is the negative stuff on social media. All they talk about is the negative stuff on the news. All they talk about is how high the gas prices are. Like, I don't have time for any of that stuff. I can't change any of it. So why am I going to manifest on it right now? It's just like when we're dialing the phone, right? And we get a no, or we get an objection. It's like, I'm not going to sit there and think about or talk about the last no I just got. I have no space in my time to even dwell on the fact that somebody just cursed me out, or somebody said they weren't interested and I couldn't overcome the objection. Listen, After I've set over 15,000 appointments, and to this day, I can't remember a single time someone was angry with me, someone cursed me out, someone talked to me nasty. I can't remember it. So I'm not going to remember it in 2 years, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. I'm not going to give it any energy for 5 seconds after it happens. So the fastest way to forget about it, dial the phone again, get somebody else back on the phone quickly. Like as soon as someone tells me no, or I can't handle an objection, I'm calling the next phone number. I don't even have time to think about that. I don't want to think about it. And I don't want it to take up any room or space in my brain. So just these little things will help kind of get yourself into a place that you can control your attitude every single day. It doesn't matter if you roll out of bed late, you're mad at the world, your checking account says $2, and you're just like, this life sucks. You can change your attitude about it. You know what? I got an insurance license. Today's a new day. I'm starting at zero anyway, so I don't care what my checking account looks like. I'm going to make my bills, no problem. Today, I'm going to talk to everybody I talk to, I'm going to set. And the people I set, I'm going to go see, and I'm going to be very assumptive, and I'm going to be, when I go to serve them with an application. So you can change these things, but you have to be aware and make sure it's every single day that you're making these habits become reality for you. So.
Awesome. And that was like jam-packed with information, Jaime. That was amazing. So thank you so much for that. And to hit on that, it's like, we always talk about how it's like the small changes that make the biggest difference, right? So it's like, it's that small change and being able to wake up. Like you said, you can change a negative thought to a positive thought. Like, okay, yeah, you have $2 in your checking account, but you live in the United States. You have running water, you have a car, you have food to eat, etc. So being able to first though, be aware, right? Like when I was like 19 coming, or 20 rather, coming into this industry, Jaime, like I wasn't aware. Like I was like, like, oh, like, this person hates me, and oh God, Mary just yelled at me, and like the whole nine. Like I cared about everything, but I was caring about the wrong things. And I wasn't aware of it, right? And then like you said, those affirmations of like, I'm here to help families. Like that's what I'm here to do. Like saying that out loud right now, it feels good, right? Like I am here to help families, right? It's small things like, I'm going to help the next person I talk to. People can't wait to talk to me. And I remember coming, into FFL and having a conversation with you, Jaime, and you were like, what do you tell yourself in the morning? You had asked me, and I was like, well, like this and that. I don't even know. I was like way off, and you were like, how about some positive things like that you tell yourself? And then you told me the same thing, make a list every morning of 10 things you're grateful for. I'm grateful I woke up. I'm grateful I live in the United States. I'm grateful I have running water. It could be the tiniest thing. But what I realized, Jaime, was it really started to change and fit who I was, like as a person. Those affirmations and what I was grateful for. Those two little things just changed everything. It was like, how could I be saying I was grateful for something or saying I love my clients, and then Mary curses at me, tells me to fly a kite, and I'm like stuck on it for 3 hours, right? It's the complete opposite, right? So that's huge. And if you're not aware of your mindset, please be aware, because Jaime just went in on, if you can't hone in on that, you can't take that in, the longer it takes, it's going to take you longer to see the results you want to see here, right? So just do it. Just try something different. So Jaime, that was awesome. And, on the phone, also, I remember in this conversation, you're short, sweet, to the point. You're like, hey, I'm coming over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so if you don't mind, I guess, and this might be a little bit different, but would you mind like role playing like a phone script with me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, like you call me.
Yeah.
All
So
right, cool.
I'll say a couple things, like my mindset about the script. So first things first, I don't let anybody talk unless I ask them a question. So if they ask me a question, I almost am not listening to it. Like I hear it, but I'm not listening to it. If I do answer their question, because I'm still trying to be polite, I'm not answering a question. I'm just addressing their question. See, if somebody asks me how much it costs, I'm not answering that question, but I will address it. And I'll say, perfect, Miss Mary, that's the first thing we're going to cover when I come by tomorrow. So were you working, retired, or disabled? See, I'm not answering any questions. I'm just addressing them. The other thing is I don't leave any pauses at all when I'm saying the script until I ask a question that I need an answer for. Because if I leave any sort of long pause, they're just going to sneak in there and say something that in the beginning, you're not prepared to handle. You're not ready to handle all of these different objections that you get. You can handle just the script and asking them, do they work, retired, or disabled? Or Are they going to be home in the mornings or the afternoons? Or are they, do they work during the day or in the evening? You know how to handle that part of it. But if they start peppering you with all kinds of questions, next thing you know, you're frazzled, you sound like a salesperson, you're a telemarketer, and now they're hanging up on you and they're never buying anything because they don't want to be sold life insurance. So that's my mindset. The other mindset that I have before I ever call a lead is this person half kind of knows me, like we have a connection, right? Because the connection is the lead. They filled it out and I have the license to help them out. But like they don't know me, right? Like I don't want to be so friendly that they're like, oh my God, yeah, just give me a call back. Like I'm not that friendly, but I'm friendly enough so they want to hang on the phone with me. I also need to mirror exactly how their voice is. As soon as they pick up the phone, I need to discern immediately, do they sound old, young, hyper, chill, soft-spoken? Is it a grandma? Is it a truck driver? What is it? And whatever it is, I have to be right there to match it because people want to do business with people like themselves. I always tell people, you are not going to get the same Jamie, every person that answers that phone. Because if they did, then I would be a telemarketer, right? Or I'd be a salesperson. Get so excited. And their voices go all high pitched. It's like, it's just right here. We're just serving families. We're just helping them out because they raised their hand at some point in time. I don't care if it was last week. I don't care if it was, 18 years from today. They raised their hand at some point in time and said, I need some protection. And I've got the license and a bunch of carriers that I can do that with. So that's my thought process before I ever start dialing the phone. Now, I print my leads out. I take a stack of 30. I'm calling every single phone number 3 times right in a row. So I have 2 phone numbers on here. I'm going for the cell phone number first because that's what everybody has around and that's what they're answering. I'm letting it ring 3 times, hanging it up, calling right back. See, I'm thinking about like a grandma who's sitting on the couch watching Maury Povich and her cell phone's like kind of at a distance, right? And she's like trying to reach for it and everything's falling off her lap. And then I hang up the phone. But then the same phone number calls her straight back. Now she's like, oh, they must really know me. They just called me 2 times in a row. And now they're more apt to pick up the phone. So I'm calling through just a small stack 3 times in a row, and I'm calling through that stack 3 times. So at the end of the stack that I have of 30, if they have 1 phone number on there, that's 9 times in probably about an hour and 20-minute window, because that's about how long it takes to call 30 of those. Okay. So that's kind of like the setup. The other setup that I have in front of me is I have my schedule and every single time slot that I need to fill. I'm going to fill my first day first, and then I'll move to my second day. I also will fill, let's just say I speak to 3 retired people right in a row, and all of them are home during the day. They're going in my morning slots. I am not offering them an evening slot because I need to leave that open for my people who go to work. I'm also going to stack them in a way that they're kind of clustered. So 3 retired people are going to go back to back to back, just like that. I'm not going to give this one a 9 and this one a 3. I don't want to have a big gap in the day. So I'm going to say, okay, I got you down for 9 o'clock. And then my next one, if they're home and retired all day, that one's going to be a 10:15. And then if I get my third one who's retired, that one's going to be an 11:30. Okay. So that's kind of how we're looking at the schedule when we are sitting down to dial. So leads, phone, calendar. That's it. I'm not shuffling around. I'm not distracted. I am laser focused, hurrying up to try to get this dialing done. There's no shot in heck that I want to spend all day on a phone making phone calls. It's exhausting and I don't even want to deal with it. I don't like setting appointments that much. Even though I've set a bunch, I don't like it. So, and no one does, right? So why are we going to turn setting appointments into a darn career? No, we're going to hurry up and get this knocked out. And my little butt is not moving out of this seat until I got my day filled up. And that might only take me 2 hours or maybe it take me 4. I don't really care, but I am getting it knocked out. And there isn't going to be a single spot on my calendar that is not filled up. I don't leave the house without 8. I don't go out without it. Like there is going to be 8 solid appointments on my calendar for the very next day. And I don't care how long it takes. But my butt is not moving. I'm not up doing dishes, taking a phone call, helping an agent, none of that. Laser focus. All I'm doing is set my appointments because I know that if I got a tight schedule tomorrow, I can win at this thing. Okay. So that's kind of like the the backstory of getting ready to set appointments. So the script is super easy. We have tons of audio on this, so you don't have to feel like you got to record this right now or whatever, or maybe you want to, but super basic. So let's just say we're calling internet leads because we can get those a ton. We've got instant, 1 month, 3 months. We got all kinds of variety. I call them all the exact same. I don't care if they just filled it out today or 3 months ago. I'm calling it like they just filled it out. So it's like, hey, Marisa.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go ring so you answer. Ring.
Okay. Hello.
Marisa.
Yeah.
Hey there, this is Jaime Eufemia giving you a quick call, Benefit Center. Just giving you a call back. Looks like you filled out some information online about just some basic insurance stuff, and our office was just assigned to help you out with that information. Now, I've got you here in 21222 zip code, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And it looks here that you just put your name on here, correct? Or is there a spouse or a significant other?
Just me.
Okay, perfect. So single. All right. So listen, it doesn't take me long to figure this stuff out, what you qualify for. They've got me in Baltimore helping folks tomorrow. I have a few slots that are still open. You working, retired, disabled?
I'm retired, but I think I already got that taken care of.
Perfect. Here's what I need you to do. No big deal. Just have that thing out when I pop by. We'll go through it real quick. Make sure you have the proper plan. So you said you're retired. Was it mornings or afternoons usually better for you?
Mornings.
Mornings. Okay. I can either pop you in at 9:15 or 10:30. Which one would you prefer?
9:15.
9:15. Okay. And I've got you here 123 Main Street, right?
Yep.
Okay. And any dogs or anything like that I have to be aware of?
No.
Okay, perfect. And the parking, is that on the street, in the driveway?
You can park right in the driveway.
Okay. And like when I come there tomorrow at 9:15, is there like a doorbell or how does that work? You have a ring or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll see you on the Ring camera.
Okay, perfect. Well, I will be in a white sedan. And my name was Jaime again, and I've got you tomorrow at 9:15. Please make sure you jot that down wherever you keep your other important appointments. We want to make sure we don't miss each other. But 9:15 tomorrow morning, and I'll come by and show you what you qualify for. And again, make sure you have that other plan out so you can just make sure it's all set up right. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 9:15.
Awesome. All right. Well, and Jaime, what I love there is like you don't pause. Like you literally don't. Like I couldn't talk if I wanted to. Like you were like, I'm not like I'm in control. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And also the essence of you, like you said, you don't just walk over the question. Like I said, oh, like I think I already got that taken care of. You're like, that's great. Back on script. So you said you're retired. Like no big deal. So very matter of fact, almost like I'm just doing my job, and like.
I always say it's kind of like, if it's no big deal to me, it's going to be no big deal to them. If they say something to me and I start getting like a little wound up and my voice gets high pitched and I start to get nervous, then they're going to start to feel nervous too, right? It's like anything else. Like when your kids like get hurt, like if you were like, oh my God, you're bleeding, oh, like acting crazy, they're going to be like, oh my God, I'm bleeding, oh. But if you're just like, you're good, let me get you paper towel, let me get you a little Band-Aid, we'll be good to go in about 30 seconds. Let's just get that thing wiped up. We're good. They're going to be good. They're going to think it's no big deal, even if the thing's pouring out blood. But because my level of excitement was just chill and no big deal, it's going to be just chill and no big deal for them. Sometimes they start to make something a big deal and I got to meet them where they're at, but then I'm going to bring them right back down. Like, for instance, let's just say, oh no, tomorrow is not going to work for me, girlfriend. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I'm not going to be available. Okay, no worries, Miss Mary. All right, what time's that doctor's appointment? Well, that's at 3 o'clock. All right, no worries. Listen, here's what we're going to do. They've got me out there in the afternoon, and I've got either a 4:15 or a 4:30. Which one's going to be better for you? See, she was wild, but then I was wild, but now I brought her back down to here we are. We're in control of ourselves, Miss Mary. We're just going to do exactly what I'm saying, and we're going to follow my lead here so we can get you protected. So
you
that's
matched
kind of
married.
Yeah.
Matched married. Met her where she's at.
Yep. So super simple. Listen, you're going to get objections. There's tons of objection videos and scripts and things like that. Like master 3 basic ones, right? Just master 3 basic objections. Because if you have at least 3 mastered, you pretty much can handle most of them. The biggest thing with master an objection is to handle it quickly. Do not pause and wait for any sort of affirmation that you handled it, and move straight back to the set immediately. No waiting, no thinking about it, straight back to the set. So are mornings or afternoons going to be better for you? So did you say you're working during the day or in the evening? So you were retired. Are early mornings best or afternoons? So you can ask in a bunch of different ways, but handle the objection, move straight back to the set. But you don't have to memorize every objection. Just memorize the not interested, the already took care of it, and I don't have time right now. It's super simple for our brain to handle.
Absolutely. I think that that's huge because those are the three big ones, right? Like if you can master your way of handling that, redirect, you're going to be good. And like you said, Jaime, like every time that, there's an objection or concern, right? Your rebuttal might not necessarily work every time, but at least you tried, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just hang up the phone. You have to, I always say the rule of thumb is I have to push at least 2 or 3 times. If I push 2 or 3 times and I still can't get you to set with me, I mean, I almost feel bad for your family because you just don't see the importance of insurance, really. But I'm not gonna just fold down after you told me you don't have time to deal with me right now, because truth be told is everybody wants insurance, but nobody thinks they're gonna die tomorrow, and nobody thinks they're gonna be not healthy enough to get it tomorrow. So we do have to push a little bit. I mean, listen, we're pushing people who've already said they want it. So I'm fine with that. I'm not calling my neighbor pushing life insurance on them, right? Then it getting awkward. These are people who ask for life insurance, but we have to pleasantly push them a little bit so that way they understand that tomorrow isn't promised. And I'm sure that their family members, whoever will be picking up those pieces, if they don't come home tomorrow, would have been happy that I gave them a little push to get that appointment set so we can get their family covered.
100%. And I'm sure that you can relate, Jaime, even like death claims that you never thought you were going to get. They came like, a week after you were out there and you're like, and that person tried to push you off, but you just push and you persist. And thankfully you were there. There's also stories of that vice versa, right? Be the person who pushed and got in there and helped that family and, resume. So you just dropped like bombs on terms of the phones as usual. So mindset phones, if you're on this call, listen back to it because it's a great one. And Jaime, I know you got to pop off here in just a minute or two, but I do just want to congratulate you, for partnering with Integrity. It's a huge accomplishment, and it truly, I'm just so proud of you and Frankie.
Thank you.
You got it. And I just want to say, I want to ask you rather, so far, how has it changed your business and how has it shaped your business and kind of what makes you thankful to be a partner?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, a couple years ago, we'll say 3 years ago, right? Because I think FFL as a whole has been partnered with Integrity for 2 or 3 years, maybe now. I mean, this wasn't even a thing, right? This wasn't even a thing. We just figured we're going to build a really big agency, sell some insurance, teach other people how to sell some insurance, but never in a million years did we think that we could have a partnership with $1 billion company and have stake in that company and have the support and this like almost this like brotherhood, so to speak, with all of these other partners and people who are out there just like you and I. I mean, I feel like just a person who just not long ago was in the basement setting appointments for Frank, for him to go run, getting hit with a chargeback, hiring a bunch of agents, some fell off, some stuck around. And then fast forward, and like here we are, a partner with Integrity Marketing Group, who is a $16 billion company. It's like, if you just put your mind to it and you just get really, really good at the basics, right? Just be really good at the basics and do them every single week without a shadow of a doubt. You in a couple of years can see these same results and start looking at being a partner with Integrity, and your life will change. I mean, yes, I get it. The finances are like, we make really good money regardless. We can make really good money just selling insurance, right? I mean, let's face it. Where in America can you make this kind of money just selling insurance? But this next like Integrity thing is just like, it's a next level thing. It's like, this is like wealth. This is like, before we started talking with Integrity, like every single day I was looking at stock of Prime America, stock of Humana. Every single day I'm looking at that stock and I'm like, we're going to hustle really hard because this could be our stock. And so when you start manifesting those things and thinking about those things, you start acting differently. And and giving it more than what you thought you had in you, and doubling down when you didn't want to. You start to do different things, and so it kind of changes some things. So yeah, super humble, super you know, it's just, I feel like just a regular old person who got an opportunity and a shot.